Good evening, Excellency ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. Tonight, I have the pleasure to bring back my friend for the second part of I like to call more human resource management, but this time we focus more on talent management. I mean, if I can just sort of like focus a bit for this particular dialogue. Anyway, why don't I give you the floor to introduce yourself a bit, because last time you did already, but just for the record.
Okay. So thanks once again, Pana, that allowing me to for the second talk show and to cover interesting topics with interesting advantage also for the our value audience today. We will focus on what we call talent management, which is the wording. I mean, we can call it as human capital management, a couple of years ago, or even development resource management.
Yes.
But the talent management is more focused on more than just human resource. We will focus more on developing talents, developing skills, and this will require more implication, not just from HR, because before we think that it's a HR job to recruit people, to select people, to hire people, and to even terminate people. But now it's also a part of the corporate executive responsibility to take care of what we call a talent management, which has become now a big issue, a big challenging role for the corporate. I got some statistic from Harvard Business Review in 2017. 52% of top business challenge now is thinking about hiring and retaining talent of the high skilled people. So this is a big challenge for those corporate executives.
All right. So let's jump into the case of Cambodia in your view. Where do you see the challenge in term? Okay, before talking about challenge, where are we in this sort of like a pyramid thing? Where are we in what level are we already?
Yeah, as I give a little bit definition at the beginning, we start from naming like human capital management. We manage people, and the definition of human capital is just sometimes more focusing on hiring, recruiting people, and provide payroll at the end. But the talent management, it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. It's implicate not just HR, but it's all implicate the manager, the middle management, the top level management.
Okay.
In order to collaborate to bring this program together, because HR alone cannot succeed this challenging force for the company.
Cambodia have gone through, let's face it, from the peace process, we're about almost 30 years now. I mean, 28 years already. So it's a lot of development taking place. Many Cambodians have obtained scholarship to study in other countries, Australia,
Abroad,
France,
yes.
US, whatever. Many of them are coming back, entering the market force, entering the labor force. Where do you see we fit now?
That's a good question. As you said, talk about our trouble history. That that a lot of intellectual engineer, doctors has been like eliminated, and this has to be recovered. Our country have to recover, and not just in 5 years, 10 years. I mean, the doctor have to at least 12, 15 years, and all beyond the experience that they accumulate along those years. And now you talk about emerging. I call that emerging generation, that the 80s. I call also as the baby boomers after the genocidal regime of Khmer Rouge. They went abroad, they go abroad and come back with their academic background, but not really experience. We agree all that. They come
They
with
have knowledge, but not
knowledge,
experience.
speaking English well, and Western consideration, and so on so far. But the experience in terms of business strategy, they have to learn. They have to learn. So this emerging generation become sometimes the leader. The leader, so they have to develop skill, how to develop the talented people in order to keep them and to help them to build their respective company. Because those that go abroad, I think that sometimes it's from wealthy family sometimes, so they have some company to manage.
Yeah.
But those people, as again I said, they don't have really experience in terms of managing talent, managing people.
Yeah. All right. So in other words, you think that Cambodia, in that human resource aspect, we still is an emerging market.
Yes.
So more challenge in terms of getting the right people to
the
the
right
job.
place.
Yes. Does it explain why we have a lot of mid-level and high-level managerial position filled by foreigner?
That's a good observation. That good observation. There's no, let's say, no jealousy. I mean,
Yeah.
corporate need to fill the gaps.
sure.
And this gap, normally, for me as a Cambodian, I want to fill the gap by our young Cambodian generation, not by the foreigner.
Well, I think it's more cost competitive if you think about it.
Yes.
Because when you have a locally high, if assuming you compare banana and banana, right, apple and apple, the same skill, same experience, you don't have to pay for the housing allowance, you don't have to pay for many things, right?
So you mean to hiring expat?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are some cost benefit right there, right? But again, do we have enough people that can fill those slots? That's the question.
I have a good feeling. I have a good hope, because being spending 3-4 years this last year to train to teach those middle management, and I hope that this emerging young generation will take over sometime the position that left. Will be living by the expat sometime.
Yes.
And as you said, we will recover our identity as a generation that we can take care of our own future, our own economy. So by again, we will talk on this topic by building a very good plan of talent management.
Yes. Well, I would say Cambodia policy, we are wide open. I mean, we're very welcoming. You notice in society here, foreigners are so welcome here.
That's right.
The economic policy of the government is very open. The entrepreneurial spirit is very strong, and we're now part of the ASEAN economic community, the Mekong region. So I think it's a lot of factors helping Cambodia to contribute to this quality growth, right? Now, my question to you is, how do you go about, developing what you just said? How do we go about developing the talent so that ultimately many of these young Cambodians who have experience could fill in the slot and, help take off the economy?
In order to do this, we will see along this talk show. It's like it's the whole process, not just building talent. It's not just developing. It's the whole process. Starting from recruiting, selecting people, write down, design a very good job description, and then offering to the talented people or perform employees, and then. When they come into the company, we have to a politics set up that will favor those new employee and providing the supporting like training and so on so far, and without considering the other factor like motivation and so on so far. So it's a long process. It's not just hiring people and then let them
But the issue,
developing alone.
the issue way I see is that I start with the first phase of what you describe is that writing a good job description. For a multinational, it's easy. They have specialized
They have
people.
standard.
Yes, standard, right? And they have people who can appreciate the complexity of a particular position.
Agree.
So, but for a normal Cambodian okay, they have money, they have asset and everything, but how does he know, I mean, the job description of a CEO or CFO or COO? I mean, that's the issue.
That's the issue. That's the issue, and you touch the sensitive points. That's the issue for the big corporation. For sure that they have some standard, they have some compliance. They have no choice. The JD have to be sometime looked at by the expert in HR. For the family company or the local company, they have to learn to adapt also to the new trend. I mean, it depends on the company. If the company that are really local, not going out overseas or any exporting company, they can adapt at their own. But for company that who grow abroad, I mean exporting and so on, so they have to adapt. Like you said, we are in the globalized economy, so they have to adapt. Any procedure, I mean even the hiring procedure, job description, definition and so on, they have to adapt to be comply with those standards. But for the local company, yes, we have an issue.
And now I see more and more as since we joined the ASEAN Economic Community. Of course, the WTO was the early wave of market opening, but the deepening of the market is with the ASEAN Economic Community, right? The opening of the 10 country into one massive market. Up before that, the Cambodian businessmen are shield in a way that they think local.
Yes.
Right? I run a company, but locally, right? I speak my own language, right? And now the market they grow, but then the market grow, then you have more foreign entrant. That's where the JV kicks in. But then the JV are coming from very sophisticated company,
That's right.
from Japan, from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Thailand, and they are not local.
No.
But then you see the disequilibrium
the
of the knowledge,
Yeah.
right? The multinational from Japan would strike a very demanding bargaining, positioning with their sophisticated, term.
Formula terms.
Yeah, exactly. And then the local is a bit, oh my God,
Absolutely.
So this is where I see your role is very important to help build the capacity to at least bring up the level playing field.
Absolutely. So to fill the gap, as I said, I mean, to fill the gap.
Yes.
And again, it just explain why the interest to manage, to build up, set up a program or management of the talents, to develop those skills to young generation, a local Khmer that has trying to go abroad, but when they come back, they will come back with background, academic background. So we just need to teach them, to coach them, to bring up to the level that will be at the same as the level of.
Where would you start? Where would you start on that one?
To develop talents.
Where would you start?
At the beginning, we start from the selecting people.
Okay.
Through different network, and then when we select people, we go to the whole recruiting process.
Okay.
So recruiting process, interview, in-house interview, interviews, and then we come up to the last choice to choose the right candidate, and that the first part to choose the right candidate. And this part sometimes was implicated by the manager and also the HR. The HR will start this first step first, and then the manager will get involved in that.
Wouldn't it require a lot of knowledge and experience for the interviewer?
That's another chunk of specialty, how to pose a right question to the candidate according to the right job description. Sometimes the question will be, if you don't control well your question, you can ask the question that not really related to the job itself. Another skill. I mean, how to.
Would people outsource for that at that level?
In Cambodia, I saw a couple of companies that provide this kind of service outsource. We call that headhunter company. Well, they have their skilled people to interview. But again, there's still some limitation. I have some company work for us. When they send us the candidate, I mean, we have to send back. Because first of all, they don't understand well our job description, and they don't even ask. Just like accounting, we need senior accounting executive. There's some several description regarding to this accounting executive. Accounting executive, we talk about bookkeeping. And daily cash register and so on, the regular job of accountant. But not going through the closing book of the month and so on. So it's different. Just in the accounting job, you have several level of job grading. So this has to be understood first by the interviewer.
All right. We take a short break, and when we come back, we'll go to the next phase. Which is once a gentleman or that lady was hired already, what's next?
That's right.
All right. Okay. Okay, so we finished the first phase. Now, second phase, the person is hired. What's next?
So the employee has been selected. We think that it's the right people, and then they will come on board. There's a program we call a welcome program or an introduction program. That probably introduction program that I'm not sure that our several company here adopt that kind of culture.
What would it entail? This?
It's talking about introducing the new employee to people, not just in the department. I mean to the main people in the company, in order to make sure that this employee work for us, start working for us, and they will be part of department and so on. So in terms of communication will be better, and people know that we have new member of the company upfront. And after that, the employee will start working. We need, as an employer, we need to make sure that the new employee have everything to run the job smoothly. I mean, even the office and so on, facilitation, everything is even the knowledge, the network, depending on the job that the responsibility, we make sure that the employee have enough material to start working for that company.
I met many Cambodian business owner. I mean, well-to-do, business doing well. They do mostly with the international market. So what they hide CEO or CFO who are foreigner. But then, the foreigner knowledge is far higher in their field, right, than the owner. So again, there's some issue there also. There's a gap on how the owner would know the performance of his employee, who are far better, more qualified than him. And yet he wouldn't be able to assess whether...
You bring me to next point.
Okay.
Now I come there. So the employee start working. We provide the environment, working environment, smooth working environment. We present to people, that's all done. And then we turn to the next step, that employee start working. And we will make sure in the job description how we can measure their performance. That's the question is between between the owner and how to measure. That is very good point. If you don't have the good measure or good tool, let's say what we call a key performance measure or key performance indicator or KPI. The employee will start thinking that what I'm working for. So
well,
I have a goal. I have an
objective. Good example.
Yeah.
Give me a few examples on that.
Well, like if you need to recruit a salesman. A salesman, the KPI is what? A salesman, the KPI is a sales target. If you said that, okay, you guys, you have to make $2 million in 2019, that's one of the KPM, what we call a sales annual sale. You make your best, $2 million. If you exceed $2 million, let's say 2.2, we will provide you some percentage of the $200,000, and so on and so forth. So it's a kind of motivation, and you are capable to measure correctly the performance of employee. But if you don't give that kind of indicator to the employee will feel that, well, how can my boss measure me? And the measurement is a part of motivation. It's not something to do with money, but it's something to do with your psychology. So if you don't measure well your employee, I mean the employee don't have motivation. And if they don't have motivation, well, you will facing eventually the employee that have demotivation.
And this is something where I think the Cambodian market, particularly in the service sector, as you mentioned, sales, for example, the level of, I would say, knowledge, experience of salesmen. You know, in America or Canada, Europe, right? When you're a salesman, you're a professional.
That's right.
You're a professional. You're a real estate salesman. You are a professional. You know everything that need to know about the industry. You know, a person who want to buy a house or condominium, you can discuss from the mortgage, from the whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? And they are very professional. They know their business. Not here. Here, you know, I was told that when you put your house on the market, they come and take the listing and they disappear.
That's right.
You know, they cannot explain, you know, oh, I done this. Because you see, you have to deal with client, right? Even the house doesn't sell. But you got to keep the client, oh, I done this, I done that. They don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to a store, say a musical store. You have all this fancy gadget, right? New keyboard, new whatever, electronic. You ask them, they say no. It's big, it's nice, it's modern. You ask them the feature, nothing.
It's really marginal, not detailed.
Yes.
They don't know the detail. In French, we call that as the French call that as ingénieur commercial.
Ingénieur commercial.
There's a term engineer, commercial engineer, ingénieur commercial. So ingénieur commercial, commercial engineer, know not just to sell the product. They know the product.
They know the product.
So the salesman should know the product, as you said, you know the product. You know how to. In the case of housing sales or real estate, they know even beyond to presenting a house, they know how to finance the housing itself. So they have a good package, a good knowledge of how to
but we're not there yet.
Approach clients.
I mean, for the local Cambodian company, I don't think they appreciate that yet.
That's keep saying, but I have a big hope that we still have facing big challenge, and that's why the question that you asked, that why we still need 40 years to fill the gap. We still need some time to fill that gap because this kind of reality it's still there.
And
we
it's
should recognize
interesting
that.
if you look at the ASEAN Economic Community, it's a mobility of people, right? You find now in the service sector are filled by a lot of Filipino. Managerial.
Yes,
it's telling because they have the language skill, they have the soft skill, they can deal with experience, they can deal with the customer. They're a good front of the business, right? So
good approach.
Yeah, good approach. Yeah.
So this is part of the talent management. So now we will back to the step. We talk about the how to motivate the talented people.
Okay.
How to bring people talent, more talent. So it's motivation. Motivation. It's cover everything. It's cover the how to measure, how to provide the good performance evaluation to our employee. So employee will get motivated and he will perform better. On the performance evaluation, also on motivation, we also have the some like politics in each company. You know, like the company should create an environment of working environment that will be suitable and that will be acceptable for every employees. You know that you spend most of the time in your working area and probably less time with family. So your working area, I mean, represent at least let's say more than 50% in your office than in your house, in your home with family. So we have to bring this atmosphere, the working field, very acceptable and suitable for the employee. Again, it's a part of developing talents. People don't want to leave because, oh, you know, I have a good place. I don't want to leave. It's my place. It's like my house, my home. So this, we have to create that culture, that feeling.
Yeah, I want to touch on something that is very, sometimes is a complex issue because the local feel that they are not there yet. So, but then they see a bit with some resentment why the chairman hired a foreign staff, for example, and then the conflict, the intra-office conflict is there. How do you see, you know, say for a Cambodian company, you know, who have a lot of good local staff, but
foreigner,
a lot of good local staff, but then they're not there at the level of the foreigner. How do you mitigate that intra-office resentment? You know.
Well, it's a question of working together. We should promote the what we call a collaboration culture.
Yes.
I'm sure that the foreigner beyond the academic background and the experience overseas, they probably don't have the Cambodian experience.
Yes.
And if they work in Cambodia, like you, I mean, you have like Western culture and background, but here in Cambodia, you adapt very well. So that also, it's a culture, it's a knowledge, it's a part of experience. Experience that not just because we come from school from where, but also adding up to the culture of the country. I have a lot of projects that running in Africa. We talked last time. I sometimes I have to adapt to the country culture. So this is also a part of the knowledge, a part of the skill.
So it will require the very sort of like the CEO have to push down that
level
culture a bit.
That's right. Collaborative, you know, be open mind, and try to push more the local people to accept more the foreign. Sometimes there's some gap. Sometimes there's some, you know, some feeling of agitation when they working with the foreigner counterpart. Sometimes, you know, so that we have the as the owner, they have to privilege that atmosphere. And in other part of that, the owner themselves, they should be open mind. They should be open mind and to be ready to listen to the new ideas. So that also will create more people who are willing to work with this kind of environment. I probably take some sort of mention from Mr. Frederick Herzberg.
Okay.
You probably know him. He's an American psychologist, very influential person. Who he wrote a lot of books in business management. He said, the money is less powerful motivator than opportunity to learn, advance in their responsibility, and be recognized for their achievement. Okay, so if the owner don't realize that the recognition of the achievement is something that key motivator. They will surely lose the talented people. That's a part of the talent management.
You know, the problem in our market now is that the economy have not settled yet, right? We emerging economy, right? So
Agree.
Different industry still grow. Different industry are still trying to find their path. So people who work in those industry are also not secure. So that's why you see a lot of mobility
Yes.
within the industry, not cross industry. So people move from one company to the other, and then so you ask them why you change from that company to that company. Oh, they give me more money.
A good question, a good observation. I can have some
Yes,
word on that.
please.
People not quitting job, people quitting people. Okay.
Interesting.
86%
Okay.
of of people that we interview, of employees that leave the company, the manager said, when we asked to manager why the employee leave the company, 86% of managers said that, well, they leave for the money, the question of money. Only 11% said that, well, they leave for other reason than money. So the manager don't know exactly what is the reason behind the turnover, the high turnover of the company, of the employee. But when we asked the employee who leave the company, 89% of the employee said that we leave the company for the reason other than money. I mean, the statistic is it's 2013.
It's opposite.
Opposite, yeah. So meaning that money don't know what is the reason behind of the turnover rate, high turnover rate. People quit people, not quitting jobs. Some yes, but people quitting people because the like I said in the beginning, the environment, the capacity building, the career path, the development of of the responsibility is not going nowhere. There's no policy, the real policy of retaining people. So people just leaving. We talk about here about the high skill people, not the non-skill. The non-skill, I mean, it's not going to that category. They have $10 more, they will go to join talent. But for the skilled people, they will, the question of money is not the first factor.
Okay. Interesting point. Yeah, because I see for most of the Cambodian people now, I'm talking about the skill level, right? The mobility is still there. Intra-industry, right?
Intra-industry,
so if I take your comment there, so it's more an issue of the manager.
Absolutely. Well, the majority. I'm not. I don't want to generalize.
The majority. Majority. So if people quit not because of the money, it's because the environment. If it is environment, you have to be somebody have to take responsibility to create that environment, right? So you sort of pass the blame to the higher level.
Well, it comes from the top. When it comes from the top, everything the top. Once you create your corporate culture, corporate culture comes from top, not come from the employee. And the employee just sit there to maintain, to sustain. But the picture comes from the top. So if the owner don't promote that culture of retaining the high talented people, for sure that people will leave.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, I think we delve a bit more
deeper.
Deeper on this issue of staff turnover, and how can talent management help reduce that. Okay,
that's right.
Good. So corporate culture matter because it's from the top. Cambodian still have its own sort of like culture, the way how to run business is still. Let's face it, we grow out of family business. We're not. Sometimes when we use the word corporate culture, is a bit foreign, because a Cambodian very successful businessman could be just a family business.
Yes.
The father, the son, the daughter-in-law, that sort of thing. But there's no corporate thing.
No.
There's no board meeting. There's no shareholder decision. It's just the father or the older brother who decides.
Sometimes they have board meetings, sometimes just for formality.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it. That's it. Okay.
okay.
Anyway, so
So-
next.
The next level is how to develop. We talk about to retain talented people. So to retain talented people, we have to develop. To develop, it's a big word. I mean, you have several factors that and come into the how to develop and retain people. I prefer to take some good word,
Sure.
a good mention of a personality that you probably know, Richard Branson,
Yes.
who is the CEO
Yes.
of Virgin. It's a
Yes.
big company.
Yes.
He said, "The leader who don't listen will be eventually surrounded by people who have nothing to say." And other word, I just want to add up, the biggest concern for the company now, for the corporate company now, should be when the most talented people become quiet.
They should be worried.
That they should be worried about that.
Sure.
So you imagine a passionate people, a talented people, a skilled people don't have anything to say. Imagine there's something wrong. Okay, so if you want to listen, the leader or the owner or the CEO want to listen just what they want to listen and don't want to hear other than what they want to listen, that will be starting of the problem.
But this is where the Cambodian cultural mindset step in. We're still a very paternalistic, society where hierarchy matter. You're the owner of the company. You're the owner.
Sometimes they build a lot of the false assumption. I'm rich.
And therefore,
I'm rich. I'm successful.
Yeah, and therefore I'm successful.
But I'm not sure that the factor bringing him to the rich man. It's it's can be learned, can be taught. Yeah, it's a model. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why when this happening, when passionate people, when talented people keep quiet, how you talented people can give any idea, any open idea, any brilliant idea if your boss said, well, I don't want to hear, I'm success now. I don't want to hear anything else.
So here is the issue of personality then. If somebody, let's say if the owner of the company is an introvert and he don't open up, how can you change that?
It's you're right. It's a kind of personality. The personality cannot change. The personality come up like this, and they come along with their life developments, become a rich man and so on. So it's very. But if this leader or this owner have a sort of emotional intelligence quality, I mean they can adapt. They can adapt with the EQ, high EQ. They can adapt with the young generation. They can come across with the issue with the cross generation, the issue that we talked last time. So this, yes, it will. But I mean, if the owner still keep that close mentality, I mean, it's the future of the company that will be condemned. To stay, not to fail, but to stay at it, not to grow.
I see. If I look from the day we have the peace process, 93 onward, right? Let's use 93 as a benchmark, right? So we're like 26 a year later. If you see a chart, right? You see the very high at the start, high level of old entrepreneur, and then you see the young entrepreneur right here. Right. And then now fast forward over the year, you see the young entrepreneur rising, the older tycoon declining. And there is an interesting factor to take into account, because those who manage to not decline are those who are able to pass on to their children, who happen to be sent to study abroad, come back, educate, open mind, want to pay tax, have a different corporate culture. But then those who decline are those who still hang on. I'm still the father, I still decide. And yet the business environment the economic environment of the country have totally changed, you know, and they could not adjust.
Exactly. So they don't follow the trend.
Yes, yes.
Okay. We call those category of leadership as paternalistic.
Yes.
Yes. Leadership.
Yeah.
Paternalistic is that it's my company.
Yeah.
I build it.
Yeah.
I success with it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's mine.
you're gonna work with me and you
Yeah.
listen to me.
Yeah,
That's it. So that
Yeah.
we call a paternalistic leadership.
I see some this type of business they're on the way out because they
Yes.
could not survive competition.
The
Economy is so wide
they are
open
not
now.
failing because they already
Yeah.
accumulating a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of heritage with
Yeah.
land, with
Yes.
also,
Yeah.
but they cannot grow anymore. They cannot.
They
cannot
sustain
attract.
because of other factor than
Yeah,
theirs.
absolutely.
Yes, yes.
So they cannot attract the
Yes.
talented people.
Yes.
The talented cannot stay longer
Yes.
because there's no, as I said, there's no atmosphere.
So how do you do that about talent management?
Okay, so now we continue with the developing how
Yes.
to retain and develop people.
Yeah.
Developing talents have several tools, starting from provide training to resupply to the employee to make sure that the employee has everything to work, and even the material thing. And after that, you retrain people. If you think that the employee that you just recruit, he has a very high profile in this expertise, but they lack probably, I don't know, let's say leadership. We can bring them, we can train them inside or outside training and provide them the adequate training and to become a good leadership. And then we will evaluate along the process. Evaluate sometimes take months, years, depending on the person, and then you will evaluate employee. The evaluate we have as we discussed in the beginning about the how to measure the performance of employee. We have the soft evaluation. We have the hard evaluation. The soft evaluation is to measure the employee based on the personality criteria, engagement, entrepreneurship, professionalism, the rigor, discipline, and so on. So sometimes you have five, six, nine key criteria that you think that your company culture based on that. That's what we call a soft evaluation. And the other, what we had evaluation, which is using the material that we can measure, really like KPI. We set a target. We set numbers like the machine broken during the year. If you go to, I don't know, let's say this machine cannot be broken over than 20 times per year, and if you can keep it at 18 per year, it's a good also, etc., etc. The number of late, the number of waste or number of defects, etc. That is also what we call a hard evaluation, and it's sometimes majority received by the well perceived by the employee. The issue, the hard point is on the soft side. Soft side sometimes it's very hard to measure what is your entrepreneurship level, what is your professionalism level. So it's discussable. But
Well,
if you implement these two kind of evaluation, that will be good and safe for your company.
See, I'm again trying to put the context of the Cambodian businessmen
Okay.
here because they may have the asset, they may have the wealth, they may have a lot of business, but these are very sophisticated stuff here. I mean, should they outsource to professional people? Should they have specialized people that they hire just to do all this monitoring, all this thing, or?
Performance evaluation cannot or really outsource because it happened within your organization. The outsource for recruiting is okay, but the evaluating your employee, it should be your supervisor, your manager.
Yeah, but this is where you have to focus more on talent management of the manager, not of the employee.
Well, the manager that supposed to have their role as managing things, and also their role now is to maintain and retain the good people. That is part of the whole organization. That I mentioned at the beginning. It's not just a job of HR. It's a job of CEO, top down to the manager. to keep the talented people, providing everything to.
So what you're trying to say is that there should be more reinforcement of talent management of the CEO himself.
Come from the CEO.
Yeah, but the CEO himself have to be
have to be also aware
Yes.
about that. Absolutely, absolutely. If the CEO don't want to hear even about talent management, what mean talent management, I think it's very hard. We have to make sure that they understand well this critical mission. It become critical now.
Yeah,
I mean, it not just in Cambodia, it not just outside world, but also in Cambodia. We just talk about the cross generation and also with the dynamic and competing economy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have people keep leaving your company, not the bad people, but the good people, the talent people. You imagine you facing with the opportunity, business party outside. You can even hire a good people, and you cannot even retain a good people. How you can answer to the market?
Well, you see, this boils down to there are a lot of good people, but the point, if you are the owner, but if you are not at that level, you will not appreciate, having somebody who are so knowledgeable. Not that the person don't want to. So to me, my premise that maybe when we should look at way more how to build the talent, the knowledge of the CEO, of the owner, so that they know that this is an area that we have to have some good people. Because if not, they stagnate because you reach certain level. Look, like I say, street smart can only take you so far. Above street smart, you get into business model, you get into sophisticated scientific approach. Street smart cannot do that.
Yeah.
So that's why. But if the owner made their well through, luckily he sell his land on Highway 4 and then suddenly have 50 million, it don't mean anything.
It don't mean anything. So we talk about business model.
Yeah.
They don't have the same business model like others. I mean, the business model is starting on selling a good product with qualities, with a good people, with talented people, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But they have the different business model. And again, I can give you an example about that, and I fully agree, support you and your good observation, saying that if the CEO or the owner are not back with that talent management, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
They have to start with them. Sometimes some owner that I know, they don't even give the value to the HR function.
Yeah.
Sometimes they told me, well, HR is just keep paying salary. No.
All right, so that is exciting, and I hate to interrupt, but we're running out of time. What is your last message to wrap up the second and last part of our show here?
So thanks again, Pana, to give me the floor. And for me, I go through the several training course and meeting a lot of people and sharing experience and so on. We still think that the talent management it's still an issue. It's still a big challenge for Cambodian. And in this dynamic and competing economy, I think that the owner, the CEO, should address this critical issue as a strategy. Think this talent as a strategy, not just operational thinking. It's strategy thinking. So I think that our economy will adapt more with the global economy, and we will succeed.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it was quite fruitful, and we hope that the many of the Cambodian business owner would hopefully get some of this good experience sharing. And I believe it's right that as our economy is getting more sophisticated, we need more business owner, we need more CEO and chairman of the company to be more sophisticated, and that's the only way that you can hire other qualified people to join your company. So not everybody join the company just for the salary. They join because they want to be part of some success story. But if you're not able to lead because you don't have the capability, the talent, and you're not willing to learn or to go through the process to improve yourself, you will not be able to, number one, to hire people, and even you're able to hire, you will lose them because leadership matter, and knowledgeable leadership matter more. So on that note, good night.